lions. They respect the lion. What makes these massive animals respect such a small cat? The attitude is the difference. For example, a lion will see an elephant, and the thing that comes to his mind, one word: lunch. I could eat this thing. And he acts the way he thinks. Now here's another amazing mystery. The elephant is larger, bigger, stronger, more powerful, heavier, and more intelligent. And yet when the elephant sees the lion, one word comes to mind: eater. Attitude is a product of belief. You cannot have an attitude beyond your belief. So your attitude comes from your belief system. The lion is the king because of what he believes about himself.
Somebody lift your hands as we celebrate the greatness of our God. He's great and he's greatly to be praised. There's a worship song that says this: our God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
He can move mountains.
He can move mountains.
Keep me in the valley.
Keep me in the valley.
Hide me from the rain.
Hide me from the rain.
Come on, our God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
He heals me when I'm broken.
Heals me when I'm broken.
Strength where I've been weak.
Strength where I've been weak.
Forever he'll reign.
Forever he will reign.
Come on, say my God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
He can move mountains.
He can move mountains.
Keep me in the valley.
Keep me in the valley.
Hide me from the rain.
Hide me from the rain.
My God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
He heals me when I'm broken.
Heals me when I'm broken.
Strength where I've been weak.
Strength where I've been weak.
Forever he'll reign.
Forever he will reign.
Come on, if you believe it, lift your voice and say,
My God is awesome.
come on, if you know he's awesome, say it.
Awesome.
Come on and lift your voice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. My God is awesome.
Come on and testify. Awesome.
Awesome.
If you believe it, say it.
Awesome.
Come on and say it.
Awesome.
My God.
My God is awesome.
Think about it. Savior of the whole world.
Savior of the whole world.
Giver of salvation.
Giver of salvation.
By his stripes,
His stripes
I'm
I am
healed. My God is awesome.
My God is awesome.
Today I am forgiven.
Today I am forgiven.
His grace is why I'm living.
Grace is why I'm living.
Somebody ought to praise his holy name.
Praise his holy name.
Come on and testify. You know he's awesome. Say it.
My God is awesome.
It is time for Yes with Yessie. Please welcome your host, Yesenia Leyva.
Our God is awesome. Yes, our God is awesome. Our God is an awesome God, and He is a God that can do all things. And because He can do all things, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Good afternoon, New Season Gospel FM. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Yes with Yessie here with you this and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in New Season Gospel FM. Good afternoon, everyone out there listening on 89.1. If you are on your way home, on your way to work, good evening, safe travels, and I hope you guys had an amazing day and continue to have an awesome rest of the afternoon going into the evening. And tomorrow we do it all over again, God willing. And so good evening, afternoon to you, everyone on 89.1 YouTube fans, YouTube followers. Good afternoon to you all as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, and for subscribing. If you have not done so, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel, New Season Gospel FM, so you don't miss a beat on any of the programmings and the awesome music and other things that you'll just hear throughout the entire day on New Season Gospel FM. So thank you so much for doing that. And of course, our Facebook family, our Facebook familia. Buenas noches a todos allá afuera que nos están escuchando. Buenas noches por todas las áreas aquí en el condado de Broward y en todo alrededor del mundo. Buenas tardes, gracias por estar y sintonizar con nosotros aquí en lo que es New Season Gospel FM, una estación inclusiva para todo el mundo, de todas las nacionalidades alrededor del mundo. Buenas tardes a ustedes. And that was a good afternoon to all our Latin people out there that, it's interesting because you don't know what you don't know, but everyone, a lot of people listen to us, and it's awesome to hear, hey, I heard you on Thursday, or hey, I heard this show, or I heard the morning show. So it's really cool. We ought to be a part of a very diverse community. So that is absolutely awesome. So good afternoon, evening, Facebook family. Brother Akil, I see you. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon, almost evening. It's funny because when I get here, it's still, broad daylight. It's beautiful out there, and then when I go home, it's like dark outside, and it's time to, just start resting and go to sleep. Anywho, it's okay. That's what it's for, right? That's what we're here for. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's been a pretty good day, actually. True story. I'm a sleeper, and I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person per se. So I'm one of those people that'll be like, look, don't talk to me until after 10 or after 9, whatever it is. Back in the day, a coworker, a good friend of mine used to tell people, don't talk to Jesse until after 10. So it's not just now, it's been like that forever. But I'm getting better at it because at the end of the day, our day and our life does not begin at, 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. It begins, first thing in the morning, bright and early, like rise and shine, right? So anyway, this morning I woke up early, felt good. I've been waking up early the past few days, just different things going on and whatever the case. So woke up early today. I got my day going. I had to start working. I had an appointment. I've had doctor appointments the past couple days. I've had, just clients to attend to and so on. So today was really cool. Woke up early. Felt good, actually, even though I'm one of those, like, don't talk to me people before 10 a.m. Felt good. And then I was able to start my day and get a lot accomplished and then just head on over to be here with you guys and get some work done as well. So early risers definitely do get a lot more done, because when I'm like lazy and I don't leave my house till late afternoon and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did my day go? Like I've done nothing. I've done nothing. So good day so far, and excited for the next couple days to come. Just living life and doing what we love to do, right? Doing what we love to do is the most important thing, and I'm grateful. I'm always grateful. Is everything perfect every single day? Absolutely not. But I am grateful that we have a chance, that God gives us a chance, that He gives me a chance, another chance to make it better, another chance to make a difference, another chance to help someone that needs some kind of help, whatever it might be, and just to live life in community. That's and have good health, of course. That's a lot more than most have, and much more than I could ask for. So I'm super, super grateful for that. Super grateful for you guys being here and tuning into Yes with Yessie. And we're going to get started, escuchar una musiquita, hablar de un tema, listen to some songs and just talk about a topic. As a matter of fact, because we're kind of we are definitely ending June, going into the 4th of July. No, definitely going into July. So July, and then the, summer's here, and life continues. Time flies when you're having fun, which is why we have to enjoy every single day as if it were our last day, because we truly never know when it will be. So with that said, good evening once again, everyone on social media, 89.1, and of course our YouTube family. Sister Anne-Marie, good evening. Thank you for joining. Please go ahead and share the broadcast so that others know that we are here. Share the broadcast so that others know that we are here, and I would definitely appreciate that. We're going to get started. We're going to get started with a little mellow yellow, like I like to say, a little mellow, and then move our way up, and then get into our topic for this afternoon here on Yes with Yessie.
Aleluya. Te adoramos, Señor Jesús. Muy lejos de todo, muy lejos, muy lejos, muy lejos de todo, es donde quiero estar para adorar. Entonces la saben. Vivo yo, para adorarte vivo yo, vivo para sentir en esta noche con una adoración que estremezca los cielos. ¡Vamos! Oh, oh, oh. Yo vivo para ti, papá. Mi alma tiene sed de ti. Mi alma tiene sed. Oh, lo adoran en espíritu y verdad. ¡Hey! Vamos, vamos. Aquí tiene que crearse una atmósfera de adoración. Vamos, levanta tu voz, levanta tu voz, levanta tu voz. ¡Hey! Come on, come on. Para adorarte vivo yo. Sí, Señor, sí, Señor, sí, Señor. Para adorarte, entregando tu mente y corazón como un sacrificio vivo. Esa es la verdadera forma de adorarle. Oh, 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 oh. Hay ríos que fluyen, que fluyen.
Vivo para adorarte, para adorarte. So we live to worship Him. We live to worship Him in all things and everything that we do. We worship Him. And there's no better thing to do, no better thing to do nowhere else that I would rather be. So good evening, New Season Gospel FM family. Good evening, Sister Marcia. Thank you so much for joining Pilates Classic Kind. Am I saying that right? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining, and thank you for tuning in through our YouTube channel. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel with New Season Gospel FM, and don't miss another beat. Alrighty, and we're gonna keep going before we get into our topic this afternoon here on Yes with Yessie. Lo puedo todo. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength, right? How many times we want to do something, we're like, no, I can't do that, I can't do that. And yes, we can, because we are more than able. We are more than able through Christ who gives us strength. We're more than able through Him who gives us our skills, our talents, our abilities. And without that, we would be absolutely nothing. So here we go con lo puedo todo, lo puedes todo. You and I, we can do all things.
Cuando empecé a olvidar tus obras y tu bondad, cuando perdí la fe por lo imposible, cuando empecé a pensar que necesitaba algo más, a veces me cuesta creer en tus milagros. Tú lo puedes todo. Tú lo puedes todo. ¿Cómo voy a negar lo que Dios hará?
hasta aquí. Te he visto obrar, tu gracia pude sentir cuando no la merecí. Ahora sé quién yo soy, pero sé que hay más. Por fe llegué hasta aquí. No quiero mirar atrás.
Tienes más para mí. Tienes más para mí. No has terminado la historia. Tienes más para mí. Tienes más para mí. Tienes más para mí. No has terminado la historia. Tienes más para mí. Dios lo puede todo. Dios lo puede todo. ¿Cómo voy a negar lo que Dios hará?
What a beautiful song. What a beautiful song. It talks about God can do all things. How am I going to deny what God can do? How am I going to deny what God can do for me in my life? God can do all things. God can do all things. Dios todo lo puede. And I actually have a little testimony for you guys. But first, I'm going to greet you guys there on Facebook, YouTube, and 89.1. Once again, thank you so much for joining. Please share the broadcast, like and share, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook channels. Good afternoon, Brother David. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you'll receive this message that I'm about to give, David. And please share the broadcast and just share with friends. Sister Marcia, I think I said hello. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining. And you know, in listening to this song, it says that lo puedes todo, you can do all things. It was so powerful, and I shared this testimony. To me, it's a testimony. I shared this testimony with someone yesterday. So, of course, you guys know I work in the disability world and entrepreneurship, developing my company and the community relations and all these different things. And so, for me, it's my world. It's everything, and there's nothing more that I would want or that I would appreciate than for the whole world to support it and live together in unity and just, you know, embrace one another regardless of our differences of our disability and our cultural background. And so that's my thing, right? So it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I realize that and I accept that. So I was having a conversation yesterday with a very close family member of mine who has not always been supportive of what I do. They're always that type of person of, you know, you need to go to corporate world, or you need to make a lot of money, or you're overqualified, go to, you know, a huge company, you know, that kind of conversation. And so, you know, I support you, but like, you know, in my way, you know, how I want to support you type of person, right? Which is fine, which is great. You know, all support is welcome. And so we're having this conversation, and, you know, part of me wants to get cranky because of how this conversation is going. But he said, you're good at what you do and nobody does what you do. I hear that a lot. You're good at what you do. Nobody does what you do. You just have to do this, you know, and do that and put it all together. And he's just kind of, you know, guiding me in something that I'm doing currently. And so when he spoke to me in that way where, you know, you're good at what you do, nobody does what you do, I'm like, wow, like indirectly he's telling me that he supports me and that he supports what I do. And so I share that because it's perseverance. It's not giving up. It's continuously doing what you do, no matter what, no matter, you know, who likes it, who doesn't like it, who's going to support it, who doesn't support it, who shows up, who doesn't show up. It doesn't matter. It matters. Of course, it matters to you, but it should not, whether they do or don't, should not allow you to stop showing up for yourself and for your goals and for what you want to do. And so when we persevere and when we keep going and when we don't give up, those same people, like this person to me that don't believe, that think you're wasting your time and so on and so forth, they're going to catch up. If they don't, that's fine too. But they're good. Trust and believe and have faith in that they are going to catch up. And when they catch up, it's going to be like, welcome. Now, how can we do this? You know, how can you support? How can you further support to help get to the next level type of thing, right? Versus supporting just because you are related to me and that's why I support you. You know, that's a thing too, but no. So anyway, that made me very excited. I forgot about the entire rest of the conversation that we had when I realized, okay, this person is now supporting. Now they're like, you're good at what you do. I believe in what you do. You're the only one out there that's doing what you do. Now let's do this, you know, so that was a really cool conversation. So you never know who's watching. You never know, of course, the impact that you have. But even in those people that sometimes tend not to believe or tend not to support or whatever the case, you keep going, you persevere, and you have to wholeheartedly support yourself and believe in what you're doing. And the right people will gravitate to you. The right people will support, even those that you think might not or might never support, they will. And that's something that happened to me, like I said, very, very recently. So that was a great conversation. That was a great realization of now this person's support. Whether it's just a support, if you will, of saying, you know, I believe in what you're doing and you're good at what you're doing. Even if that's it, it's not. But let's just say that's what you get. That is what that person is there to give you. That is the kind of motivation and inspiration and push that person is there to give you, that maybe gives you, I know it did for me, it gives you a little fire, a little push to say, okay, what I do matters. Because whether we like it or not, there's just certain people that we kind of, it's not to say we need their approval, but their support matters to us. So it's like if they support specifically, it's like, oh, okay, this matters. Right? In a way, it's kind of having a sense of validation from those people that matter most to you, even those people that have told you no, or that you're wasting your time, or whatever the case, time after time, to then say, you know, I believe in what you do. You're the only one that's doing this. You know, go for it. Versus trying to gear me away from it, that was everything. That was absolutely everything. So that is a testimony not to give up. Never give up on yourself, your dreams, your talents, your abilities, and what you can do. Thank you, Sister Marcia. Sister Marcia says you have certainly made a big difference in the lives of those whom you support, and these changes you have implemented will be around for years to come. Thank you, Sister Marcia. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. You know, and it's really just being there, being a voice, being a support system, you know, knowing the way of different things, that really, you know, helps other people and just kind of bridges the gaps and putting everything together. So, you know, I like to say it's not that hard, but yeah, it is hard. It's definitely hard. It's hard. It's hard, but it's worth it. And if it's hard, we're going to do it hard because it's worth it. And it's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. At the end of the day, we wouldn't be, or I rather, would not be wanting to do anything else. So it's all good. It is all good. So we are ending June, and I believe we talked about this earlier in the month of June, where it's actually Men's Mental Health Month. Men's Mental Health Month, not just general, but Men's Mental Health Month. Yes, amen, Sister Marcia. I received that. I received that. And so, why is this ignored? Why is a topic such as mental health, specifically men's mental health, why is that so much ignored? Like so many other things, right? Being in this world of disability and all that stuff, so many things are ignored that, you know, we'd be here forever. But specifically with the men's mental health being ignored, of course, there's things that just kind of mainstream or streamline when it comes to ignorance and ignoring topics so much, or topics that are so important, rather, such as this one, which is not talked about, you know, like many other things. Of course, it is not talked about. And why is that? Why is that, right? Sometimes the societal expectations I'd say most of the time, the societal expectations, they kind of dash the traditional role of that individual, right? In this case, the traditional gender role of a male figure, it might not, correlate very well one with the other. So it's the societal expectation of, well, get over it. Get over it. Tomorrow will be a better day, things like that. And it's not just necessarily get over it for anybody, really. You have to work through it more than you have to get over it, right? So those are the kind of different things that men in this case, but everybody really kind of deals with when it comes to mental health. Another thing is that it's being considered a weakness, right? So mental health or any difference really, whether it's a physical disability or whatever it is considered to be a weakness, So because it's considered to be a weakness, it kind of detours me or takes me away from wanting to ask for help, asking for support, or being in a supportive environment, or even openly talking about it, whether it's mental health for men or, whatever the case might be. And so I think it's so important, community, right? I always talk about community and why community is so important, why it's so important to me. And this is a perfect case, in men's, just a perfect example because we're talking about it. Men also need community and a group of other men that can relate to the struggles that they live, that they can understand each other, that they can, seek advice from one another. And so, yeah, it's definitely very important. Hence why men's ministry, I believe that's a number one goal for a men's ministry, right, is to the men for the men rather to have a place to go and other brothers to talk to and just to really do life with as everybody else. That's super duper important. Good evening, Mina. Thank you for joining. And so it's very important. So also, other than the fact of the societal expectations, that the gender role traditions, it being considered a weakness, it's also the limited awareness and resources, as in everything else. Whether it's physical disabilities, whether it's government benefits, whatever it is, just the same for men's mental health, it is the limited awareness and resources available because of the perception. Because the perception is that it is being overlooked. Hence it being overlooked, nobody sees anything, nobody says anything, so we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to provide any resources, information to help you, to navigate this world of any kind of emotional uncertainty, mental health, etc. And so challenges are not always understood. Challenges are simply not always understood. And therefore, of course, like I said, the lack of resources, services, and support systems or support networks. If you don't understand something, you can't ask for that help, right? If you don't know what you don't know type of thing, you don't know what you don't know. So, if you don't know, then how can you know where to go for help, right? Community. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you going to church? How is your church actively involved in bringing forward awareness of these different topics, whatever it might be? In the workplace, what's your environment like in the workplace? What's your environment like in your recreational activities or at home or whatever it is, right? I'm a huge believer that your community makes you who you are. Your community makes you who you are. And I'm a fan of teaching my students when I have the opportunity, like, who is your community? Who, like, literally, who is in your community? Who is your community? Like, who do you go to for, advice in employment, in education, in your personal life? Who is in your community? Who is your go-to person at your workplace? Who's your go-to person at school? Who's your go-to person when you need help with your medical situation? Who is that? Who are your contacts? Your contacts, your community becomes your contacts. Your community becomes your contacts. Your contacts becomes your support system, right? So I'm huge on that with all of my students across the board. When I have that opportunity, like that's on top of the list, because the last thing that I want is them not to know who to call. They can call me, but then I'm going to tell them who to call. So I'm like, if I already told you who to call, don't call me. They'll call me. But it's very important for everyone to be resourceful, and to have that knowledge of knowing who am I going to call, or who am I going to go to when I need this support, right? And so we talk about all these issues as it pertains to men's mental health, which in general, with mental health in general, the limited awareness and it being considered a weakness, and the societal expectation of the traditional role of a man or the traditional role of a woman, and so much ignorance and so much sidelined, in a sense, of the topic of mental health and really other disabilities. So how do we address it? How do we address, specifically because we're talking about men's mental health, how do we address men's mental health in our community to where no one feels left out, to where no one feels like, I don't know what's happening, I can't talk to anybody, things like that. What do we do? And so what I would say, number one, is to challenge our societal expectations. Encourage, as I said, because we're talking about men's mental health, encourage men to seek the help that they need. I encourage them to seek the help, expressing the emotion, right? Expressing the emotion, because even though so many might tell you that expressing your emotion is a weakness, it's actually a sign of strength, not a weakness. Controlling your emotion, expressing your emotion, why you feel that way. I don't think we're taught to do that. I don't think we're taught to really analyze, okay, we're feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? What triggered me to feel this way? I don't think we're taught to do that. So that's something that's very important. Like, process your thoughts, process what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, and why you're thinking it might not be something that has happened currently or that you're going through currently, but something from way back that's, triggering you to think about it right now and affect the current situation. So many different things can do that. Good evening, Sister Salma. Thank you for joining. So challenge societal expectations. Encourage our men to seek the help that they need in expressing emotions, and that expressing their emotion is a sign of strength and not a weakness. Promoting open conversation. I think we're good at that. I think New Season is good at that here. Promoting open conversation on different topics through our radio station. You hear about so many different things, and I think that's awesome. It's an awesome medium, using radio. It's an awesome medium to be able to talk about all these topics openly, where everybody feels a sense of comfort and being included versus kind of, singled out or pointed at, in a sense, right? Or put on blast, for lack of a better word, right? We don't want to do that. So I think it's a great medium to do that. So promoting open conversation, creating spaces where men can discuss their men's mental health challenges, or any other challenge really, but we're just because we're talking about mental health. And why is it so important? Because they're going to be doing this in community, right? In a group of other men that perhaps go through similar situations, where they can seek advice and talk to each other about it. And more than anything in the world, they can do this without the fear of being judged. That's the number one thing, and that is the number one reason we don't speak, or we don't share how we feel or what we're going through, because we feel like we are being judged, right? Without us saying anything at all. Sometimes we feel like we're being judged just by the way someone is looking at you, or whatever the case. So that's why. So why not encourage dialogue with friends, family, other mental health professionals, counselors, your pastor, someone that you trust at the end of the day, right? It could be any of those mentioned, but it has to be somebody that you trust. For me, I know people I can talk to that I know won't go and tell somebody else or share it with anybody. And I do know those people that if I say something to, the whole world's going to find out. So who am I going to go to? The one that's going to tell the whole world, or the one that I can trust that's not going to, tell anybody else? Of course I'm going to go to that person, right? But those people that go and tell other people, they might not do it maliciously, but they don't realize that they are breaking the trust that I have in them. So I'll talk to you once, maybe twice. It's not happening again. It's not happening again. So promoting open conversation, increasing awareness is another one, right? Increasing awareness, all about increasing awareness, because if you don't increase awareness, then we're going to stay, because we're human, we're going to stay with the same old mindset, right? Same old mindset. So we're going to stay in our lane. We're not going to talk to anybody. We're going to think that, you know, we can't express it or whatnot because I can't tell anybody because, you know, society tells me I have to be the man and the man of the house and the leader and so on and so forth. So I can't tell anybody because they're going to think I'm weak, right? And women, we've had that same, you know, train of thought as well. So promoting open conversation, creating those spaces where, you know, you can talk and discuss those challenges that you are going through or that you're experiencing without the fear of being judged, increasing awareness. So education, right? Education, that's the best way to let other people know about a certain topic. Educate them. Educating about the issue and the importance of early intervention and how to get the help that's needed, right? So the importance of the issue, educating on the issue is important, rather, and the importance of early intervention and how to get the help needed. Early intervention. Early intervention is like a key word, and I think it's a word that is so often either ignored or people don't understand what it means, even in the you know, world that I work in, if you will. Early intervention is absolutely everything when it comes to any disability across the board. So early intervention is definitely very important, and how to get the help that we need. Good evening, Sister Reverend Crescent. Good evening. Thank you for joining. So yes, Brother Akil, early intervention, and that's early intervention across the board for anything. I mean, for a first-time diagnosis, for you know, anyone living with mental health, anything at all. Early intervention. It's like, I'm going through this. What do I do early on to be able to get the help that you need early on? The earlier, the better. I advocate about this. I want to say my whole life, but forever, about early intervention in our school system for our students that need, you know, accommodations or extra assistance or whatever the case is. They need early intervention of these services, and these services available out in the community before they exit the system. Once they exit the school system, it's going to be twice as hard for me to get to them. Therefore, for any, you know, service provider to get to them. So that's early intervention. I want them when they're in middle school, 9th grade, early intervention, so that by the time they graduate high school, they're good. So that's, you know, another example of early intervention. Hence increasing awareness of all of these things. And again, tailoring the support services. Tailoring the support services, there's a huge need to develop, you know, specialized resources, programs, specific programs addressed to these unique mental health challenges, and considering the factors of, like, you know, the social expectations or the cultural norm, if you will, of you know, of living in our society, and our role as you know, a man, or our role in society as a woman. All of those things can definitely take a toll on you physically, mentally, and emotionally if you're not prepared for it. You know, and so what's interesting, the other day, I think it was on the Ask the Pastor episode, I was thinking about this because of the topic that was being discussed in the letter and all that. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes we as individuals with disabilities, specifically, like myself, we're not really taught, you know, I don't want to say gender role, but we're not taught to, you know, we're not taught to, you know, be a certain way when we're married, or when we're looking for a companion. You know, this is what we need to be looking for, or that we have to know how to cook and clean and all these things, because it's you know, biblically it is what it is. We're not taught that. We're not. You know, and so when you're living with a disability, it's like, that's not even a thing. That's not even a thing. It's not even like it's kind of like it's not even a topic or a conversation that one day you're going to get married or you're before that you're going to have a boyfriend, you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to get married. It's not even a conversation. It's not a thing. It's not a thing a lot of the time. So therefore, because it's not a conversation, we're not, we're not, I don't know if to say taught, we're not taught or we're not, quote unquote, trained that what our role is when it comes to having a relationship. It's just, again, it's not a thing. And there's nothing wrong. I have learned that there is nothing wrong with learning about it, with knowing. There's nothing wrong with serving. Absolutely nothing wrong with serving. Absolutely nothing wrong with serving someone a plate of food or serving someone a cup of water, whoever it is. It's not. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's honorable. It's, the same way it is to help somebody that needs the help, right? So, I don't know. That was totally random. But when you talk about gender roles, a lot of times we are not taught about the gender role or about from a biblical perspective. And so, because we don't grow in that mindset or we're not trained like that, it can get hard. It can definitely get hard. It can get hard because, again, you don't know what you don't know, and it's like you feel too much pressure, or I should be doing this or I should be doing that. So it's really awesome to educate yourself, to have these conversations, to listen into these platforms that provide insight on these conversations. And a lot of times I'm on the other side, like, oh my gosh, like, because because I have so much, so much to say on it, and coming from a perspective sometimes of, you don't know what you don't know, and everyone should be exposed or taught a lot of what we learn here, just to honor God, to honor His word, and to live righteously, right? So yeah. I think that we should definitely, random thought again, but we should definitely change the stigma, the societal stigma behind individuals with disabilities and their future as it pertains to relationships and all that good stuff, because, we might have a disability, but we're still human. We're still human, and we definitely want what everybody else wants, right? And so why not prepare us across the board like everybody else, right? Just like everybody else. So, again, going back, fostering a supportive environment, encouraging whatever is your environment, your workplace, your schooling, your communities, to create these atmospheres that promote the mental well-being, tailoring support services, just specialized services and programs that address the unique mental health challenges that we have spoken about, societal expectations, cultural norms, and the gender roles. All of those things are things to consider when someone is living through any kind of mental health situation. Specifically tonight, because we're talking about our men, collaborating with healthcare providers. I think that's a huge one. Collaborating with healthcare providers and ensure that mental health resources are available, even if that particular office or person or whatever the case is on a limited budget. I don't care how limited your budget is. Everybody deserves a resource, a number, some information for their well-being. And I think that is our job as members of our community, to work together with our community service providers, leaders, politicians, etc., to make sure that everyone has access to resources across the board, as I tend to try to do for individuals with disabilities. I always say, I don't care who you are, where you're from, how old you are, the color of your skin, I don't care. A disability is a disability, and I will serve you for that specific purpose because you have a disability and you need the assistance. So I think it's fair, and it should be the same across the board. Therefore, all of the resource and information should be attainable by every single person on the planet. Every single person on the planet. So collaboration is definitely important. Collaboration with our healthcare providers, collaborations even in our churches, our pastors, because I think church is a place where we are most comfortable in just talking about these things and talking to our whether it's our pastor, whether it's a mentor, whether it's one of our sisters. We're comfortable, right? We're good. This is probably where we spend most of our time, or on the weekends in community and what we do. So I think it's definitely important that our leaders and our churches and our schools and just our community, partners across the board, start to engage or continue to engage in this topic of mental health. And in turn, we're going to minimize the issue of, suicide thoughts and all that stuff. And we can be more engaged as it comes to suicide prevention. I think the highest number one reason that about the suicide is because I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't know what to do, so definitely the more communication, the more open we are about it, the lower the number of suicide that we will definitely see. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And especially with our caregivers, like this is number one, and to be honest, that's exactly why I thought about it from the beginning, because our caregivers, our male and female caregivers, like I live with my dad, who is a primary caregiver, and I go through things with him, the conversations that we have, the moments where he just like cries, and I have to be like, oh my gosh, like I have to be the strong one, right? So it is a thing. It is a thing. And so we have to be grateful that we have each other, kind of to lean on emotionally, as him being the primary caregiver, me kind of being the in-between person, and with the services and all these different things. So it is a thing. It's definitely a thing. So community, guys, partnerships, mentorship is everything. Of course, your family, friends, just have community. Community is everything, and community makes things so much easier than doing life alone and having no one to talk to. It's just so much harder than it truly has to be. So community. So with that being said, that's what I wanted to bring to you guys today, and totally random because I was going to tell you about this earlier and I just got excited. There is a new bill. There's always new bills up in Tallahassee and government, but there is a new bill with managed care pilot for people with disabilities like myself. And this pilot program will provide Medicaid management care services to people with disabilities like myself, which is just a fancy way of saying that they will provide some kind of funding for us to be able to receive some kind of long-term care service, whether it's a home health assistant, nursing, whatever we need, in addition to the Medicaid services that we already receive. Most of us, not me. And then, so this pilot program was also included rather in a broader perspective in a healthcare bill. And so if you're interested about learning about this healthcare bill, because you're on Medicaid waiver, you need more assistance, that's S like Sam, B like boy, 2510. That's Senate Bill SB 2510, and you can learn all about it for those of you like myself that are in these programs of Medicaid waiver or not, and have to depend on them for whatever reason. And so this will allow for more people to be taken off of the Medicaid waiver, actually. Waiting list, that is. They'll be able to get off of the waiting list for Medicaid waiver because now there will be more funding through this bill for us to be able to get services. So that's a good thing happening in our neck of the woods in the world of disability news. And I hope it's something beneficial to more people. So with that, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for joining Yes with Yessie. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for supporting New Season Gospel FM across the board. You guys are amazing. And so I'm going to ask you to please continue to share, pray for us, and giving is so important because we can't do it without you guys, without your support. So ways to give is scrolling across the screen, but if you're listening to me on 89.1, ways to give are Cash App $ New Season WC. That's Cash App $ New Season WC, newseasonfm.com, right on the website, newseasonfm.com. Via Zelle, our Zelle is 954-536-1821, 954-536-1821, and you can do it via PayPal also, wordmusic47 at yahoo.com. Wordmusic47 at yahoo.com. But if none of that works, keep it simple. Do it right on the website, newseasonfm.com, right on our Cash App, $newseasonwc, and we will make it happen. You can always reach out on social media, and one of us will definitely get back to you and be able to help you directly as well. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your support, and for supporting Yes with Yessie and believing in the mission, my mission of inclusion and diversity of individuals with disabilities, because we matter. We matter, you matter, and that's what New Season is all about, here to support. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys next week on another episode of Yes with Yessie. Before that, though, tomorrow is Fun Friday. Fun Friday. Join us first thing in the morning for prayer time in His presence at 6:30 a.m., followed by the Pastor Steve Show alongside Pastor Henry for Fun Friday, and then noontime prayer at 12 noon with Minister UC, and then we do it all over again. After that, we'll see you here on Sunday, God willing, for our Sunday service. So if you haven't visited us and you want to come by and see what it's all about, I invite you to come Sunday, 11 a.m. for our weekly Sunday service, 4660 North University Drive here in Sunrise, Florida, 33351. Again, follow us on New Season Gospel FM, New Season Worship Center, all across our social media, and we look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Until then, have an amazing rest of the day and rest of the weekend, and I will see you, God's willing, next week on another episode of Yes with Yessie. Taking us out and saying see you later, another one of my favorite humans in the entire world and my favorite songs. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you next week.
Everyone needs compassion, a love that's never failing. Let mercy fall on me. Everyone needs forgiveness, the kindness of a Savior. The hope of nations. Everybody say, please stop. We're more than more than. Solo nos puedes salvar. Puedes salvar. Nos puedes salvar. Nos siempre de salvación. Jesús la muerte venció. En la muerte venció. Cristo vivo está. So take me as you find me, all of my fears and failures, and give my life again. I give my life to follow everything I believe in. Now I surrender. Solo Dios puede salvar, y Dios puede salvar, por siempre, por de salvación. Jesús la muerte venció, en la muerte venció. Cristo puede mover, solo Dios puede salvar, y Dios puede salvar.
all these other lights down up here.
Voy a pedirles que apaguen las luces que están aquí enfrente.
And if you have your cell phone or something that lights up, just light it up.
Si usted tiene su celular o algo que brille, que prenda una luz, le voy a invitar a que lo saque.
We're going to put action to what we're singing next.
Vamos a poner acción a lo que vamos a cantar enseguida. Saque su teléfono si lo trae con usted.
We're saying
Estamos
we're going to
diciendo
shine the lights
que vamos a brillar la luz
in Bogota.
en Bogotá.
We're going to shine the lights
Vamos a brillar la luz
in Colombia.
en Colombia.
We're going to shine the lights
Vamos a brillar la luz
for all the world to see.
que todo el mundo lo pueda ver.
We're going to sing it loud.
Lo vamos a cantar fuerte.
Lucia Parker is going to lead us. Come on.
En la tierra tu luz brillará. Cantamos por la gloria de tu majestad. Jesús, en la tierra tu luz brillará. Y cantamos por la gloria de tu majestad.
Just you. Make it dark. Make
Solamente
it dark.
ustedes, vamos.